Welcome to the Student Wellness mini lesson on email etiquette. Learning how to send a professional email is important and necessary. The faculty and staff have collaborated with Swell to provide constructive suggestions for improvement. In this mini lesson, we will take a look at some examples to learn from and review the best practices for professional emailing. Sending an email to a peer is not the same as sending it to your teachers, counselors, employers, or college admissions. School-related, work-related, and any business-related emailing should always be professional. Here are some common examples of inappropriate emails. Do any of these look or sound familiar to you? Are you wondering why these are considered inappropriate? For starters, these emails look like text messages. There are no formal salutations, signatures, clear explanations, or options for resolutions. Be sure to provide dates and times that work for you and be flexible with the teacher's schedule. It is your responsibility to check the calendar, syllabus, and with a classmate before you email your teacher. Consider the time that has passed since an assignment or test. Your teachers have many students and many assignments to grade. Avoid text talk, use complete sentences, and address your recipient professionally. Almost all are lacking information and professionalism. It is imperative, especially when asking for a favor or an extension. The number one suggestion for improvement was responding to emails. When someone emails you about a class, an assignment, a club, a meeting, or event, it is important to let the person know that you have received the email and read and understand the information. Email is one of our main forms of communication here at Pres. It can get overwhelming, but it is important to be checking and reading your emails regularly. You are required to check twice a day, but most days it's helpful to check more often. Acknowledging emails is something that we can all work on. Let the person who has emailed you know that you have received the information when they ask you to do so, especially with time-sensitive information. Answer their questions or provide the information they need, ideally within 24 hours. A simple okay or thank you is enough. If you have time to read it, you have time to respond. Finally, when is it appropriate to use reply all? This can cause even more unnecessary emails for many people. Ask yourself, who needs this information I am replying with? Typically, small groups or club emails can be reply all because everyone involved needs to know. It is never really necessary to reply all on mass emails to large groups such as your entire class level. If you get a mass email and need to respond, only reply to the sender. You can also CC or BCC any additional recipients who will need the information to avoid emailing everyone. The second rated suggestion for improvement was formal salutations and signatures. Developing this now will set you ahead of your peers. You will have to do this in college and in your future career endeavors. Often an email is a person's first impression of you. Make it a good one. Have a clear subject line to ensure your message will be read. Some teachers have preferences for the subject line, such as the course name and class period, to help them stay organized. Be mindful of these requests and follow them. It is a good habit to get into because you will be asked to do this in college. Be specific with your subject line, especially if you are including any important attachments. Teachers have multiple classes and many students. Help them help you. You should always use professional salutation regardless of how well you know the recipient. Safe bets are hello, dear, or to whom it may concern. Professional emails should not address the recipient in a less casual way than you would in person. Miss Nagel in person would be Miss Nagel in your email. Double check and correctly spell the recipient's first and last name. Start out with a courteous greeting before you dive into what you need. Include a closing salutation such as thank you, sincerely, or best. Consider setting up a signature so that it will automatically appear at the end of your email. Directions on how to do so are included in the resource sheet that you will receive at the end of this lesson. It is important to stay concise and proofread. Write in a language that is easy to understand. Even though email can be a quick form of communication, always use correct English in complete sentences. Take time to proofread for spelling, grammar, proper usage, and punctuation errors. Always use your spell check, but don't solely rely on it. Read your email back to yourself and see if it makes sense and is error-free. Be mindful of the tone of your email. Are you conveying what you are meaning to say? Are you coming across as entitled? Make the necessary adjustments when needed. Try to keep emails short and sweet, but not as brief as a text message. Take time to craft your complete sentences in a clear and concise manner. Be specific, include all vital information, but try to keep it concise. If your email is too wordy or lengthy, try editing it down before you send. It is important to avoid text talk, slang, and abbreviations. All of these are unprofessional and do not reflect positively on the author. Oftentimes, the reason for our email is to request something from our teachers, such as information, help with an assignment, an extension, or a meeting to make up a test. Let's take a look at a student's email from the past. Take a moment to read this email. Reflect on the following questions. What was your first impression after reading it? What is missing? When you make a mistake, avoid listing excuses and take responsibility for your actions. It's okay to miss or forget an assignment, but problem solve a way to make it up. If you missed a day, read the calendar, syllabus, and previous emails about the subject. If you still need more information, ask a classmate before you email your teacher. When you finally reach out to your teacher, propose possible solutions to resolve your issue. When requesting a meeting, be sure to include a few dates and times and be flexible with their schedule. If a teacher writes, "See me" in an email, this is not optional. Reply right away with a few dates that work for you. Here's an excellent example of how to email your teacher. Take a moment to read over it. This student has problem solved before reaching out and has met all the criteria for a professional email that we have mentioned so far. Our final tip is on expectations for responses from teachers and other recipients. Our teachers are committed to all of you and want to help you as much as they can. It is important to be mindful of their time and respect communication boundaries after school hours. Make sure to plan ahead and be cognizant of time. Set realistic expectations for people's response time. What time of day did you send your email? Is it during regular school hours or at midnight before a test or a due date? We understand that issues may arise last minute, but it is still your responsibility to problem solve and connect with your teacher during regular school hours. Teachers need a grace period. They also receive a ton of emails every day. Give your teacher at least 24 hours to respond to yours. If it is a busy time in the semester, give them several days to get back to you. Do not forward your first email back to the teacher because they have not responded within the grace period. Send a new follow-up email when the appropriate amount of time has passed. If it is urgent, utilize all of your resources such as tracking them down in person or after school or during office hours. In your email, you will find a resource sheet with more tips to help you succeed. Thank you for your time. We hope this mini lesson was helpful. Be swell.